Now I gotta open it up. We can cut this part out.
Or if it's funny, leave it.
Packaging! All right, so why am I doing this? You'll watch. Don't tell my daughter I just dropped that on the couch. Okay, so here we go. What color are we choosing, Charles? Because we have an ankle here, and we're gonna discuss a high ankle sprain. So let's see. My daughter loves pink. So where does a high ankle sprain happen? You have a syndesmosis. Do you see the color showing up? No, it's barely showing up because this is a highlighter. And then you have your anterior tibiofibular ligaments and your posterior tibiofibular ligaments, and then your syndesmosis over here, okay? So an ankle sprain, oh, different color. Yeah, thanks for the reminder there. Okay, we'll use turquoise. Okay. See, some anatomy models come colored, but I like to color. Okay, so you've got your, deltoid ligament, and it's a broad ligament, okay? I know you can see the colors. We've got such good special effects, you won't even be able to tell that I artificially colored this.
It's like marble.
It's like marble. Did you say marble or marvel?
Marvel.
Marvel, okay. And then you've got your calcaneofibular ligaments, anterior talofibular ligaments. So there's ligaments that are primarily related to a low ankle sprain, and then you've got the high ankle sprain. Okay, so what happened? He sustained a high ankle sprain. So that means he injured the ankle here. So that means these two bones, and if you've been watching these videos, you know that this is like the worst plastic model ever. So instead of breaking, they just bend. Do you believe this? You know, we have all the technology, all the data publicly available to actually make real bone models with real kinematic relationships within the plastics, but we don't do that. Or they'd be too expensive, but they're not. Everything's 3D printed. It's not expensive. So anyway, so when you rupture this, what is the risk? You get this bone that then gets separated from this. Maybe I can should I use a chisel? Hold on, let me get a chisel. So, sorry, I had to get Thor's hammer. So, what we're looking at...
Do not miss and hit the counter.
No, you're right. So, you never seen a chisel and a hammer in a medical video before, have you? And we're not in the OR, but actually the tools are fairly similar. But if I were to recreate this, you can do it multiple ways. You can pot it in a biomechanical MTS machine, and you recreate it based on the twisting mechanism that disrupts the ligaments and blows it out. Or you can do something way more fun. Slot this in here, okay? Maybe I should put this on something. Let's put it on a block of wood. All right, let's put it on this. All right, so if we were to do this, ready? Now, if we were in surgery, we'd go tap, 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 tap. Nope. Okay.
Yeah. Well, it's durable.
It's durable. Okay, so you basically get a disruption in that space. This has to break more. Let's break this more.
Well, also, are we going to have to use this thing for another description on something?
I can put it back.
Okay. You sure?
Metal, plastic. And I think the plastic is winning. All right, so basically, you're getting a disruption in the syndesmotic ligaments, but you can also get a disruption in the anterior or posterior or posterior ligaments. And you can see how the chisel barely made a dent in this plastic. Have I said this before? We need better bones. So that's a good marketing slogan, you know, like you get a sponsor, you know, it's like we have better bones. Just, you know, there's derogatory terms. We don't want to take that to.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
You can go there.
I can go there?
You can go there.
So anyway, so these bones separate. Oh, there we go. So you see how that space is opening up?
Just go run it over with a car.
Oh, I think I know why. There's a metal hinge in there. It's like bending the metal hinge. Okay, all right. So let's not break through the metal.
Oh, there you go. Not really, bro.
So yeah, that's just for the ankle.
That was the James Conner injury.
That was the what?
The James Conner injury for the Cardinals.
Ah.
He jacked up his ankle.
Oh, there you go. Where was I?
Well, we
were splitting these two bones. So when they separate, they can create an instability. And so if you imagine two bones that were normally quite coherent, they were lined up, if you shift, then what happens? Remember, it's not just about the bones. The ankle, the joint capsule, and what is down here going right under the distal fibula? The peroneal ligaments. So oftentimes you could have, if it's a severe injury, you can actually bruise or injure or rupture your peroneal tendons, because if it completely disrupts, then you can actually affect the actual peroneal tunnel through which, and the groove through which the ligaments and the tendons pass through. So with the peroneal tendons, they can get affected. And then, of course, there's so many other structures. But if you have that instability, it's also about the weight bearing, because 80% is tibia, but the fibula still takes about 10 to 20% of the body weight. So it still has an effect if you have a disruption here. And if you just imagine that if you're going like this and it splays when you move, obviously exaggerated movement, then you're going to have an unstable ankle. And so we don't know the grade of the high ankle sprain. We don't know all the ligaments that are torn. But we do know that CeeDee Lamb has chosen not to have surgery, is the latest news that I do have. Now, if he's not having surgery, then you have to give it time to heal. And that means you have to keep it in a certain position. And there's all sorts of biomechanical data out there. Is the syndesmosis stable at 90 degrees? Does the ankle need to be in plantar flexion? Do you put more stress in hyperextension? But on average, when we stabilize this, if we're going to do a surgical reconstruction, and again, when we do the surgical reconstruction, it's literally mostly in a single coronal plane. We basically drill across there, and you can, old school, you use screws, new school, you use some type of a rope tethering mechanism, all sorts of different types of ropes out there, and sutures, and essentially syndesmotic repair systems. And the size of the tunnel, the size of the suture, whether there's metal, whether there's an absorbable plastic washer of some sort in there. But for the most part, it's a collinear within a slightly tangential coronal plane that you place that in, just based again on cadaveric dead tissue biomechanical studies that weren't done in vivo. So none of the surgery and the outcomes that we're doing is a true reflection of human anatomy biomechanics as good as it could be. Now, I'm not saying we're not doing the best job based on the data we know, but the data we know is limited. Now, I'm not saying I have all the data. Well, I'm building the data sets. I'm creating the data sets with Kinesi. But until we get there, there is so much we don't know. And until you have more data, which can take some time, and until you have the analytics to show otherwise, you do what you do based on the best available medical knowledge data sets that you have. So, however, but think about it logically. Our body is three-dimensional. The ligaments are three-dimensional are constructs. But the best available knowledge so far, based on biomechanics studies, says that if you're going to do an operation, put it tangentially, it's about 20 to 30 degrees tangential to the coronal plane, and you put 1 or 2 tethers, okay? So, and once you do that, you stabilize it, you let it heal. But if you're not going to do surgery, you have to brace, cast, or put it in a boot in a certain position of the ankle, and that can be different for everyone. Now, you don't want it to heal too tight. You want to maintain the motion, and that's where many people after surgery, they actually, when they reconstruct it, they keep it in 90 degrees. But if you're doing non-surgical repair, where you know there's going to be a little bit of stretching and give, then you might put in a little bit of plantar flexion. And if you were to ask 100 surgeons, you get 102 views, because someone says 6 or 7, you have one advantage over another, right? It's all demographics, 6 or 7. Questions? I hear crickets. I explained it that well.